Byron, you're not going to believe who I found. These are some of Mr. Bott's best friends.
Hi, I'm Byron Tyler.
We admit it.
And you admit it too.
Yeah, hi.
I'm Byron with Bott Radio in Memphis.
Oh, okay.
This is Paul and
Sylvia.
Dick Bott and I were in the class of 1962 and the very first station owners and operators to be admitted to the board of directors. And we've spent many summers at the lake, and they've spent time with us here in Lancaster. To everybody else, it's Lancaster.
And what's the proper way to say that again?
Lancaster.
Lancaster.
Yes.
And I've learned since I've been here, it's Lancaster.
Yes.
So
And we will correct you.
well, listen, do you have any stories of Mr. Bott that he might want other people to know about too? A funny story?
The first one when he needed a check cashed or something it was.
He had the kids down at Bob Jones University, and he had his own plane, and he was flying this way, and he realized he was getting low on gasoline. So he stopped at Lancaster Airport, and he looked at the phone book to see if there were any call letters, radio stations that he would recognize, and he saw WDAC. We had never met each other at that point. And so he called the number, and they transferred the call to me. And he explained that we're about out of gas. I need cash. Would you be willing to write a check? He said, I know this is irregular, and I'm not sure I would do this myself. But if you would write a check and then we could get cash, I'll reimburse you. There were no credit cards in those days. This is like in the late 50s, early 60s. Sure. Drove him to the bank, got the $400, I think it was, in cash. And that was the beginning of our fond relationship ever since.
Well, that's a great story.
Dick loves to tell it because he just couldn't believe he trusted him.
Well, hey, listen, we're excited about Samson premiere tonight.
You should be. I haven't seen it, but everything they do is so good.
Yeah.
And I think this is going to be a real whopper.
What stands out in the story of Samson to you, Paul?
Well, he was a man that was uniquely blessed of God. People portray him sometimes as a giant man. There are indications that would have been too easy. God chose an ordinary-looking man with supernatural power, and that the moral of that whole story, for me at least, is that we not rely on our own strengths and energies and abilities, but trust in the Lord with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind, and love the Lord your God.
Well, it's so nice to meet you, and we'll make sure Mr. Bott gets a chance to see our time together.
Okay. Good to meet you.
Enjoy the evening.
Do you have any need for a story on Glenn Eshelman?
Yes.
You have a Glenn Eshelman story?
Well, sure. We nearly grew up together. I grew up on a little farm east of Elizabethtown in the United Zion Church, a plain church group. And he grew up in the Church of the Brethren about 2 or 3 miles from our farm. So we grew up both in the plain church, went to one-room schools together. We're talking ancient of days. So anyhow, we first promoted his large screen pictures of his travels in the mountain states.
They were slideshows.
And there were slideshows.
Slideshows. Yeah, that's how he started.
They were held in churches and also at Lancaster Bible College. And then he showed them, I think, some more at the Living Waters. But Living Waters kind of grew out of those slideshows, as I remember, and that's a long time ago.
But if you wanted an evening out or a date, you went to a Glenn Eshelman slideshow.
That's a great story. Thank you so much for sharing that with us tonight. Enjoy Samson. Thank you so much.